Hello and welcome back to Buck the Trend podcast. I'm Matt Nartiv.
And I'm Steph Clutterbuck. And we are home. Matt is causing chaos. He's completely disabled the podcast room so that our mics are not set up, but we made it.
So we are holding them. And one thing you'll notice, if you are watching on YouTube, obviously, is we are back on YouTube. By request from my father.
Yeah. Apparently he was annoyed that we weren't putting it on YouTube.
Well, he doesn't... No offence here, Dad. He doesn't know how to use Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other provider. And he said, well, maybe he does know, but he said he likes to watch us. So...
Hi, Mike. You can watch us now.
You can have a wave.
We did actually have some people say that they hadn't, like, they were usual YouTube watchers and then hadn't, like, we obviously hadn't been posting them on YouTube, and then they realised that we were on other streaming platforms and they had loads of episodes to catch up on. But this means we are home. We're not in a hotel room.
Which
we're
is
not
nice.
Recording from lying in bed.
So, yeah, watch us, listen to us wherever you want.
I am, however, in my pyjamas.
Yeah, I'm not quite.
Which, you know, it's fine. It's the week after race week. Anything goes.
So then, let's get straight into it. We are... What day of the week we have? Completely forgotten. We're on Friday.
Thursday. Nope, Thursday.
It's Thursday. Good start. You are 4 days post-race now?
Yes.
How
raced on Sunday.
How are you feeling first? Before we go into the race, how are you feeling 4 days post-race?
Actually, I feel better than... I feel better than I have done after any race that I can remember. Had some pretty fun DOMs in the days after, because it was obviously like the furthest and fastest I'd run in a really, really long time. But yeah, actually feeling great, and was like tired around bedtime, but I think that's kind of fine. So if I switch off about halfway through this, it's because it is getting close to bedtime. I'll need a sleep. I'm feeling good.
I think most people get tired around bedtime, so I think you're safe there.
It's like the post-race is like you don't have any stores left to force yourself to stay awake. It's just like, nope, I need to sleep now.
Yeah, I've forgotten what that feels like, so I'll take your word for it.
Fine.
So that's how we are 4 days post-race. Do you want to give us a quick... Let's go through the plan for the race and then your execution of the race.
Okay.
So... What was the plan going into the race? We spoke a little bit about it last week, but how did you see it as your plan? We discussed obviously with your coach and between ourselves. How had you seen the plan for going into the race?
I very intentionally kind of didn't have one in the traditional sense of having performance markers that you aim for, whether it's an effort level or watts or heart rate or whatever. I wanted to get through the swim in a positive way, whatever that looked like.
Yeah, I was going to say, what does that even look like?
Well, it changes, right? So it could be, the positive way could be coming out at the front and getting the fastest split, but equally the positive way could just be actually having a smooth swim with no additional stress. I didn't want to work too hard. I wanted to make sure that I didn't burn any candles straight away, or burn any matches, because obviously the next phases were going to be what I was going to be asking my body to deliver on when they hadn't. And also, I was asking my body to do something that I haven't for a while, and I know my body is different now, so I wanted to have the, I guess, like, brain capacity to recognize what was going on, so that I could make a mental note of it for later. Swim was just to have a positive swim. Bike, I wanted to control the hill, so that I could not fade in the last 20k of the bike. So for me, the focus of the ride was the last 20k.
And for those who didn't listen to last week's pod or know the course in ZLMC, it was essentially 20 kilometres flat, up a hill for 12k, the last 2k of which was fairly steep, 10 to 15% probably. So the plan was not to burn too many candles.
I like candles.
We can go with candles or matches up that hill and try and ride the second half well, which I think you executed.
We are not talking about execution. We're talking about plan.
Okay, plan. Go on.
Okay, fine. So, and then it was on to the run, which I actually had absolutely no plan for. Because running in training has been so up and down in terms of like effort to heart rate to general feeling to speed. I've done, so I think the day we arrived in Zell I did some like 45-second builds, and then a couple of days later I did some, I think it was like 2-minute efforts. So I haven't, and that was the only intensity I've done since before Texas, really, or maybe early May. So it's been a solid 5 months of no intensity on the run.
And if you're interested to see this, Steph's Strava is open,
Public.
So
Share everything, so go and have a look.
If you want to see it, you can probably see how little running she's actually done in the last 10 weeks.
Well, the volume of running was all right until I crashed my bike, and then it hurt to run, so I didn't run.
But regardless, it's not private. If you want to see it, you can have a look.
Yeah, I don't think much to my sins.
And talking of plan, I went in with I kind of had the expectation of if she runs a 1:45, I will be more than happy today. I just want to see her get across the line, like we said last week. And if that was 1:45, 2 hours even, it would have just been a success in my eyes.
And the general agreement from everyone was I was absolutely not to empty the tank in any way on race day. So Coach Tim had said, I think he was like 5 to 7% less effort than you would usually put in a 70.3.
Which I think is very tough, especially when you're in a race. I think if it was like an age group race for yourself, it's very different because you can kind of step back almost. But when you all start at the same time and you're right in the thick of it, especially off the swim and onto the bike, it can be really hard to hold that sort of self-restraint back. That's the only thing I can imagine.
Yeah, apart from my day was an individual time trial, so it was fine.
Yeah, but when you're just head to head, surely, I mean, I'm maybe it's just who I am, but I just would want to race everybody.
But I didn't have anyone with me.
You did.
Not really. So go to execution. On the swim, I started wide because I wanted a stress-free start. And I really dislike swimming in a big group, telling all my competitors my secrets. I just hate it. It really stresses me out. So I started wide to get some clear water, and stayed wide for quite a while. And so when I cut in, I was kind of at the back of that front pack that had hung on Rebecca Clark's feet. We went around the 2 turn buoys, and coming back, I think maybe it was the reflection of the sun on the water and then also the splash of having kind of 10 women in front of me. I couldn't see anything and I couldn't get round. And I was like, you know what? We said a positive swim. That can be fast speed for easy effort. I could see all of the coloured hats ahead of me. So I was pretty confident that I was in the front group. And as long as I could continue to see no splits, I was just going to sit at the back, because what's the point in moving forward to gain like 4 seconds when I was really having an easy swim. So I was like, fine, I'm just going to be here. We got out, and that run to my transition bag, I think it was shown on the stream, so people might have seen it, but I started running and then nearly fainted, so stopped for a bit and got my breath back. It wasn't like I was running fast, but like gathered myself basically. And we think this is kind of related to the POTS because it's a postural change syndrome, and the best posture is lying down and the worst posture is standing up. So for me to go from swimming at intensity, even though it was easy, my heart rate's above resting, to harder running, is like the worst combination of things, because my heart's already working hard and then it flies up even harder, just because like my body can't recalibrate itself. So I then lost the group because I couldn't run through transition with them. So that's why I say I had an individual time trial, because I got out the swim. By the time I got to my bike, Laurie Jansen, who had been behind us and not in that front group, had caught me up. And then I rode to the bottom of the climb, didn't realise that she was still on my wheel, and she absolutely sent it at the bottom of the climb. And I was like, okay, well, bye. That's not my plan, so I can't play with you. So off she went. So yeah, it was something I probably should have foreseen happening, the dizziness in transition, but not really how I had ever expected POTS to play out, because yeah, I've just forgot that you go from swimming to running rather than swimming to cycling, because there is a run through transition.
Yeah, no, carry on.
And then up the climb, I was in my own world. My heart rate had basically got to 180 and was sat there. And I was like, okay, I really don't want it to go any higher. It had been 189 starting the bike, which is stupidly high. And we think that's from the swim to run, and then the body just not really being able to figure out what it was doing. It dropped to 180. And I was like, cool, okay, if this is where it's going to be today, I can't let it get any higher. So the effort that I was putting out was basically to prevent my heart rate going over 180. And like it was okay, like it was stable there. So I was able to control the effort, which was fine. But it was then obviously just like I wasn't riding really hard. It was basically, I finished the bike with the same power output as Chattanooga last year, which is not awful, but isn't what I would want from a half distance. But I'm also 6 weeks into training, so got to the top of the climb, and my biggest concern before the race had been that I would have another panic attack on the descent, because I did probably like a week before when we went out for a ride. I'd ridden it already, but on my road bike, and I was going down on my TT bike, and the brakes, as I was braking, it was making the back wheel jump, which is exactly what happened before I crashed into the wall like 2 weeks previously. And I just didn't want that to happen on race day, as in I didn't want the intrusive thoughts to come in, because my bike wheel might jump and I have to be okay with that. So I sang to myself the whole way down, because it's like the scary bit is like 3.5, 4 minutes. I mean, I haven't actually looked at my Strava. I probably went down it a bit slower, but it's not that long. It's the length of a song. So okay. I said I was going to sing to myself.
And which song did you sing?
It's a song called Toto by Drax Project.
It was on your Instagram.
It was on my Instagram today, yeah. So it's a song that came out when I was travelling around New Zealand. And it was just the one that was in my head at that point. So I was like, okay, well, we're going with this one. I haven't listened to it in a very long time, so it tested my memory.
So if you were to listen to a song descending, what song would you pick?
Yeah, send in some suggestions, because I probably need some new ones.
Descending?
It's got to be a calm one, really.
Oh, mine would be like really upbeat, like a Taylor Swift upbeat one.
Yeah, okay, fair. You can never say no to Tay-Tay. It's got to be one you know the lyrics to as well, because otherwise you just sing the same line over and over again.
I'd want good vibes going down the hill. Nothing too aggressive. Although when I'm racing, I do quite like...
No, but the point is you don't need aggressive at that point. You've got to be calm.
To be fair, I usually sing some awful songs when I'm racing.
Anyway.
Back to it.
So got down the bottom and it was like a big sigh of relief. And the plan had then been to basically turn the screw if I could, or at least not drop off. And because I've been working to this like heart rate, I want my heart rate to not go any higher than this. My legs actually felt like they weren't particularly tired. So I was like, cool, I'm just going to sit here. And I started to overtake people, which was really fun and not what I expected at all. And I came into transition in 7th, which, I mean, like, I'll take that. That's like a fairly solid swim bike. And both of those, I think, have been executed better than I executed the race in Oceanside. Because in Oceanside, like, I was my energy was dropping off at the back end of the bike. I was ready to be off. My power was low. I couldn't really be bothered. Like, I didn't want to be there. It wasn't feeling good. Whereas this, it was really positive and I felt great and I'd fueled really well and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was like, right, let's go and run a half marathon. Why the hell not?
I think, thinking back to Oceanside though, race dynamics in terms of you either stayed with the front group or you got dropped, right?
You're gonna have to elaborate on your point.
So you're saying you raced this one better. I completely agree. Your pacing was better, yes, but sometimes race dynamics play a part in terms of, like Lisa Patera, who was with Hang On to Cat for dear life. She said she put in a minute and it was going to make or break her race, basically. So she just went full ham to stick with Cat, and it paid off. So sometimes there's like a race dynamics play a part, right?
Yeah, but I still don't understand what that's got to do with my race in Oceanside.
Because you had to work harder to stick with the
No,
front
I
group at
didn't.
Oceanside.
No, I didn't. So this was the problem. My power was really low in Oceanside for the whole race.
Okay.
So I was in the pack riding at like, okay, I've said on Strava, I'm super open, so I might as well. My normalized power for this race was like 241. In Oceanside, that first section on the bike, I was like normalized was like 190. So I really wasn't working very hard. When I got to the front, I absolutely was, but I wasn't working much harder than like 250 watts. So sat at the back of the packs in Oceanside, back of the packs on the train. No, I wasn't working hard. But what had happened is we got to the hill and my legs just completely shut down. So Paula put in an amazing surge and I just had nothing to go with her. And from that point, my body was completely empty. And that was what, like 45k in? Whereas this time, like, yeah, okay, I was able to ride. Number one, the hill was much longer and less steep, but I was able to ride it totally on my own. So I didn't have to put in the effort to match anyone else. But I didn't get tired to the point of not wanting to be on my bike anymore.
Okay, well, moving on to the run.
Yeah, and then the run was, I just wanted to keep moving. I got off the bike actually because, like I said, I finished the bike really positively, so started to feel really good. So I was just like, right, okay, I'm gonna go. About a K and a half in, the dizziness hit, and it was awful. And I think it was a case of like, I had a gel in transition. I didn't have any salt tablets. And I'd been taking salt on the bike, but there was probably a little bit of a lag, and I maybe didn't get I didn't cool my face down quite enough. Because as soon as I got to the first aid station on the course, which was like 2.5k, I then basically instantly started to feel better. And from that point, I was taking 500 milligrams of salt every aid station with cups of water. I had a 30-gram gel every 5k. And then I just felt great. I mean, I didn't feel great, but as in like non-racing health-wise, I felt great. Couldn't run any faster, but just kind of kept going. And that was the point. So like this is the first race in a long time I didn't need to walk. It's like Oceanside, I was just getting so dizzy, probably every K and a half. I was having to stop to like regain my balance before I started running again. But I didn't have any of that. And I could just like keep moving forwards. So just did that. And then, yeah, 2k from the finish line, I got a horrendous stitch. I think that was the point at which my body was like, no, you've asked so much from me today, I just can't do anymore. So I just had to suffer my way through the last 2k to get to the line.
And I know it wasn't a PB run. It was exactly it was more than what we wanted. But it was probably your best paced run. You flat paced the whole way, pretty much.
Yeah, I didn't slow down. But I also wasn't running hard.
Yeah, exactly. But in terms of pacing it was spot on.
Yes.
So that was good, positive.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just a positive day where I did what I needed to and got across the finish line, and that was really cool.
Yeah, and it was great. I mean, I heard lots of shouts. We had The hotel we were staying at were on board. So many sort of friends out there as well.
And people I didn't know. Someone shouted to me, I think it was like 600 metres before the line, was like, welcome back, Steph. What a journey you've been on. And I burst into tears.
That's a mouthful. Were you walking?
I wasn't.
No, to hear what they said.
Oh, no. No, they were running past me.
You meant to say you shot past and you only heard one word.
No, I heard the whole thing. Burst into tears and then realised how hard it is to cry and run. Yeah. So I really had to force myself to stop because I still had like 500 metres to go.
And you were still galloping along at the finish line?
Yeah.
I got a high five out of it.
I did. I spotted you. Matt like stuck his head over the railing and I was like, I see him. He's going to get a high five.
He didn't just stick his head through the railing. He pushed his way through, I think, to find a spot.
Push some children out of the way. Get out of the way. I need to watch.
No, it's just a poor bloke. So, yeah, all round, great day. And that will probably be, I say us, that'll probably be you now until Kona.
Yes, yeah. So I am on the start list for Knocker Heights this weekend. I will not be racing. I kind of decided that mid-race. Largely, like, I was running and I was like, I don't see the point in doing another one of these runs. And obviously I'm not going to make progress or do any long runs in the week between races. So, or in the like 6 days between races. So it's kind of like, you know what? This has been the race that I needed it to be. I don't want to have another one of those. Like the next time I want to get on the start line having made progress forwards. Like I'm not expecting to be in world championship shape by Kona, but I'm expecting to be fitter and better prepared to race than I was in Zell. And there was no chance of achieving that in 7 days.
No, and I think it was a case of we asked ourselves, what can we gain from that, from racing again? And all right, there might be some good parts of racecraft and things like that we might potentially get from it. But in terms of the bigger picture, we're looking towards Kona and beyond.
Yeah.
So let's settle back into training, and we've got, like I say, another opportunity now to do some fun stuff, to do some aero testing, to try and just find a few less watts you need to push.
Yes, yeah, all about efficiency. So tomorrow we're heading to the Netherlands, aren't we?
We are.
To do some aero testing on the bike. Got some things that we want to look at with helmet, front end. Matt knows the rest of it.
Everything else in between.
Everything else in between, great.
I'm sure Baz has got some surprises along the way. So.
Yeah. Which will then set us up ready to go to Texas next Sunday?
Yeah, we'll go
14th of September? For 10 days before we go to Kona. So it's literally here. Like, it's happening. It's crazy. Yeah, I can't believe where the last 4 months have felt so long, but also they're done now. Like, they're over. It's happened so fast. We're here and we're ready for Kona. So, yeah, we've got, I guess, like, other update-wise, went to London yesterday for, like, a test to look at my symptoms for POTS. It was like they want a confirmatory diagnosis, but also to look at, like, the symptoms I experienced within the syndrome and therefore how I can best manage it around racing. So hopefully we hear back about that soon. And then next week I've got my final cardiac MRI to check that the myocarditis has gone, which is slightly laughable because I've already raced. I only raced because I am 100% confident that it has gone. Just in how different I feel and the fact that it just like, yeah, I mean, it's night and day. And I haven't had symptoms since beginning of June, so I would be surprised if it's still here.
So it is all very go at the moment, but that's good, I guess. It's better than being no go.
Yeah, well, this is it, isn't it? Like, I had the whole of June being no go, and kind of being told not to do anything or do as little as possible. So now that it's all go, I'm loving it. I'm embracing it, not taking any of it for granted at all.
And it's certainly snowballing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it. Do you not think the momentum feels like it's just picking up?
What, for Kona?
Well, just everything. I mean, from where we were when it did feel like very slow progress. Feels like we're actually getting somewhere.
Yeah, I think so.
And on that, obviously, I don't know how many of the listeners will be in Kona. I'm sure people can tell us. If you're in Kona, let us know. We're potentially looking at a few options of, I don't know, something, whether it's a meetup, let's go for a swim together.
Or a coffee.
Or both.
Or a run.
Or anything else in between. I mean, I'm sure there'll be other engagements like Breakfast with Bob, the Pro Tri News live show. But if you're going to be in Kona, let us know, and we'll try and do something, and just try and meet up a few people.
100%, because I'd love to meet up with lots of people, and I feel like I'm going to be in quite a privileged position in that it's a World Championships, and I'm obviously there to race as well as I can, but I'm not there to win, so I will be slightly less protective of my time than some of the top athletes will be, because so much of this for me is to give back to the sport that has kept me going over the last couple of months. And I know how great it was in Kona before when you got to meet professionals and hear stories and just meet other people as well that have kind of gone through as much as you to get to the start line in Hawaii. So yeah, let us know what your preferred meetup would look like. I think a swim on a course followed by a coffee would be great fun. However, Matt's terrified of the ocean, so he might.
Maybe a swim to the coffee boat.
Yeah, that gets busy. We can discuss the finer points of it. But yeah, let us know. And we'll have some presents.
And hopefully a few goodies along the way.
Yeah, definitely. We all like goodies.
Do we have a What the Buck of the Week, apart from you?
I can't have it.
Okay.
I definitely can't have it. That's not allowed. I feel like, hey, I just set up a podcast just to tell everyone that I did something great.
No, okay.
I can't do that.
We'll keep it off you then.
Yeah.
For this week. I don't know if we've had any come in. I should probably check. Whilst I check, you carry on talking.
Yeah, so I would like to give my vote is for Kat's performance. We had obviously the enormous privilege of training and existing alongside her and Mark for 6 weeks in the Austrian Alps, and her attention to detail is absolutely astounding, and she made no secret about the fact that she was training hard into this race, with the focus being on Kona. She was racing Zell because she was there, and also it was a bit of a strategic decision. Like, she's going for the Pro Series and she needed to win to make sure no one else got the points, which is so cool. Like, that's so great. But she just she absolutely smashed the swim. She came out ahead of me, which I had some remarks made by you and Mark about that. So thanks, guys. But she smashed it. She got on the feet. The work that she'd been doing in the water, so totally paid off. And I just think that's what a way to set up the day, and then just raced a really classy race, did exactly what she needed to win. And being on the race course, and I'm sure those that were on the ground watching it, being able to watch a performance like that, where it's someone in control of their day, in control of their performance and the effort that they're putting in and doing exactly what they need to execute. I guess much like Hayden did at the T100, it is so impressive to watch. I just really cool.
Yeah, and excited to see what happens in Kona.
Yeah.
Because there are, I don't know, let's just say 5-6 potentially girls or ladies who could win the World Championships, in my opinion. So I think it'll be really exciting.
It's going to be an awesome race. I'm sad I don't get to watch it. I get to race it.
You watch it. You get a front row seat.
I do get a front row seat. Yeah, but it's not the course that you get to watch. You never see anybody.
No, But if you stay at the front, you'll see it all.
Yeah, just be at the front, I'd be fine. I think that we had some other really good results at the weekend. I think one for me that I think we kind of spoke about Hayden after London. T100 London, like his comeback from being hit by a car to winning T100 London. He then also won T100 French Riviera, Fréjus. Ash Gentle.
Yeah. I mean, you got asked a question on Pro Tri News a few weeks ago of, is Ash gone?
Like, it was like, is Ash a has-been or something? And it made me so angry. Yeah. I had to really control my... So this wasn't something that the guys had asked me. It was a hot take that got sent in by listeners. And for those that maybe don't follow the T100 or individual athletes' careers quite as intensely as we do, Ash was basically unbeatable last year until the end of the year after the Olympics when Taylor came in, and she nearly won the T100 Tour overall. Whereas this year she had a really rough start to the year. I think she'd probably admit that, and she hasn't podiumed yet.
No, I don't think so. But I mean, considering over the T100 distance, she had been so dominant for so many years. Since its creation, really, she was the dominant force over that distance. And I think, I think she'd had a coaching change, and I think she spoke about it at the end of this on her interview. And I'll probably say this wrong, but I'm sure she said something along the lines of that she'd been putting in the same work, but sometimes just things just don't go your way. And when you're racing, you do need things to go well for you. I don't know, I'm not phrasing this right, but essentially she hasn't changed very much. She's just stuck to the plan, and it's paid off. And I think that is part of it sometimes, is things might not always be going in your direction, but if you just stick at it, usually it will sort of turn. It's when people just give up too easily and change something because it's not working, and they just change everything. Whereas sometimes just stick to what you've done and stick to what has worked previously, and the likelihood is it will probably work.
100%. And you can never write off someone that's got the class that Ash has and has had the ability to win on so many different types of courses. And it was always going to come back around. Yeah. And she was always going to win another one because she is absolutely excellent. And we know that success breeds success. And as soon as you get an athlete on a winning streak or a team on a winning streak, they become so difficult to overturn. And it's the same when things aren't going quite so well. It becomes a pattern, and it just takes something to break that pattern. And we don't know now what will happen. I think it sets her up for hopefully a really positive end to the season that will change people's perception of how good her season has been, because it finishes well. So yeah, that was not really a redemption story, because she hasn't performed that badly, but it was really great to see her at the top. And it was just such a wonderful podium, because Paula was in second and Indy Lee was in third, so I was big fans of that.
Yeah, so that was that racing. I've just realised we're on episode 30.
Wow, that's
a pretty big milestone to celebrate, right?
That's fun. It's not quite as old as we are, though.
Not far off.
No. Yeah, we also, we've done a classic man, Steph. We've not really stuck to weekly, nor is this being released Thursday at 8 a.m. So sorry, everyone, this will be going out Friday morning. But at least you're getting an episode this week to chat through the race. Oh, actually, I haven't talked about my nutrition. People are always interested in that. Should we talk about that?
Is it not just lots and lots?
No. Okay, so race day. We took the approach because we wanted to have a minimal stress day on my body, that I wasn't going to have a diet of plain rice. Because I really struggled to eat it. So it was a case of, actually, you know what, let's eat similar foods that are maybe not quite so plain. So I had pizza the day before. Morning of, I had pancakes. Excellent start to the day. Also hotel breakfast, which was great. And it was also it was a later start, so it was an 11 o'clock start, which meant that I could have probably a slightly bigger breakfast anyway. And I did have a carb drink with I want to say 90 grams of carbs in it and 1,500 milligrams of sodium that I was drinking from when we left the hotel to kind of race start-ish. I took a 30-gram caffeine gel before the start, and also in the morning before we'd even left the hotel I'd had 1,500 milligrams of sodium. Then on the bike I had this is where I need to get this right. I had 2 90-gram sachets. Oh, I can't remember. It's on my phone. That's really sad. I'm not going to be able to remember. I think it was something like 250 grams of carbs. And yeah, that's it. 250 grams of carbs and like 3,000 milligrams of sodium on the bike. And then on the run, it was, like I said, it was the whole pack. I think it was 5,000 milligrams of sodium on the run. And 30, 60, 90, 120 grams of carbs. And then like every aid station I had cups of water. Oh yeah, thanks Matt. I was pretty close. Okay, so this is sodium rather than carbs. Before the race, 1,500 milligrams waking up, 1,500 milligrams in transition. On the bike, it was more. So it was 3,850 milligrams of salt. And then the run was 3,750 milligrams. So in total, it was 10,000 milligrams of salt across the race. Thank you very much.
And I wouldn't recommend that.
No, so this was an experiment just with regards to POTS. So that's an awful lot of sodium, and I didn't like it. Was just insane. But because sodium helps with POTS symptoms and blood circulation and blood volume, we wanted to see if it had a positive impact kind of taking that much, and it really did. So hopefully we'll just do that again in Kona, but double it, which is like that. The logistics of that are quite hard.
Yeah, and for those interested in my nutrition plan, I think it started off with
5 beers on the start line.
No, it was a beer just before you started because it was really warm and it was an appropriate time. It was almost 11 o'clock. It was 11:05 was your kickoff time. So, and then a couple more, and then a handful of Haribo and a coffee, and then I think I got a bit dehydrated because it was quite warm, and must have necked about 2 litres of water to try and play catch up.
And then obviously we get back to the hotel after the race and Matt goes, I'm really hungry and I'm so tired. I was like,
the usual.
Okay, you've had a hard day. So we'll get you some food.
Went out and got you dinner.
You did go and get me dinner. I like how, Matt, you just like properly skated over the couple of beers or a couple more.
It was only
I had 1 beer on the start line and then a couple more.
It wasn't that many.
Okay.
I needed something to calm my nerves.
You weren't supposed to be nervous.
No, but it's for anybody who supports and watches the tracker, and you've been there, so you'll know this. When it's like, expected 1 minute ago, and you're like, where are they? What's happened?
Matt is catastrophe Matt as well, so I know exactly where his brain goes and how quickly it gets there. But nothing was wrong. I was absolutely fine.
No, exactly. And I always knew that was going to be the case.
Mm.
So
it's okay.
There's a nice delve into our brains on race day.
Yeah, always fun. I was just out there having a wonderful time and Matt was panicking and drinking beer.
Oh, I want to play a game. We'll wrap up soon, don't worry. But I want to play a game. When people go to the wind tunnel, do aero testing, whatnot, blah, 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 they always come out and they say, I've found
80 watts.
100 watts. Or some rubbish like that. How many watts do we think, or watts, I don't know, put it in quotation marks if you want, do we think we can find?
Also, it's a stupid thing to say. You don't find watts. Or
you take them away.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, so essentially, to keep it simple for people, we're going to go and play around with a few different positions, front ends, helmets, everything else in between, and see. Let's just say Steph rides Ironman watts at 300 watts, for instance.
Haha. No chance.
And that gives her 40k an hour. if we then put a different suit on, a different, I don't know, bike or whatever, and it makes it then 290 watts for the same speed, obviously you've saved 10 watts there. So it's kind of a bit of a mathematical problem, which isn't my problem to sort out with. I'm not the...
How many watts do you think I'm going to save?
I'm going to go with 29.
Okay, I'm going 20.
Okay. Anyone else?
Send
Any
any
advances
guesses.
on 29 or 20? How many watts will Steph save this week?
And I say 20 because I'm so entirely skeptical about the whole saving finding thing. But we'll see.
So
We'll see.
watch this space.
Yeah. We'll keep you updated. We'll let you know next week.
And yeah, we'll be moving thick and fast towards race season. Well, race season. We're in race season. Championship season. We've
Yeah.
got the men's Ironman World Championships next weekend,
10 days time.
which
If
is
anyone's watching Gustav's
crazy
countdown.
fast. So yeah, who's your money on there?
We'll do that next week.
Yeah, but spoiler alert, I think Christian's going in as my favourite at the moment.
Yeah.
I
I
think it's
did
just hard
say if
not to.
Gustav wears his lucky hat.
Yeah, but then I think Patrick's still up there. Like,
I know. There's so many. There's so many of them.
I think there's
I
going to
don't
be
know.
so many surprises with like bike setups. I think this year, it's the second year it's been there. It's the last time to like do something a bit more outlandish. I think we'll see something fun.
Okay, we'll talk about it next week because hopefully by next week people have started to arrive and we can start seeing.
Perfect. So, yeah, we will catch you guys next week. Thanks again for listening. We are flying through the followers on Instagram, which is fantastic. So if you haven't already, or you know someone who might like the podcast, please feel free to just share it onto them.
Yeah, and give us a rating because Matt loves it when he sees the rating numbers go up.
I think we're on 66 at the moment.
See, he does. He loves it. Go and give us a rating. Make sure it's 5 stars. Thanks.
Bye.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.